John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.
Hello, everyone. This is John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience here at the Arcumelon Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we often say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and we show that by the things that we do. And today, I would like to talk a little bit about love, husband, wives, children, families, and friends. And in doing so, I kind of thought about, you know, what does love has to do with it? Well, love has everything to do with it. And I thought about the Bible verse, John 3 and 16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. And in thinking about that, God, we are his children, we are his family. And I was just thinking, not less than 30 minutes ago, um, one of my little nieces come up here with her two children, and as they were shopping here at the village store, and as they was leaving, they say, "I love you, Uncle John," and I said, "Uncle John, love you too." I say, and you keep that going. You keep that. We was raised that. We was taught that. Our family taught us to love one another. We love our enemies. We love our neighbors. We love our families and friends. And you don't have to go out the way or do stupid stuff because you love them, but you have to love them. We have to love one another. We have to put our faith in one another. And I was telling them before that my family, their family, we all was brought up in the church. We was brought up that when you have family, you have family if you don't have nobody else. And we should be able to count on one another. And And in thinking about that, I was just thinking about how close the family is, even in the church, even with the church family. The church family should be close, just like sisters and brothers. Not just because it's a church family that you love one another, but we're supposed to love everybody, but especially the church family. And you fellowshipping in a church, and there shouldn't be nobody there that's less popular, less this, that, or whatever. But you should treat each other with the same respect, the same love, the same care, and the same concern. When our brother fall, we should. The only time my father said that you would look down on him is when you was picking him up. And there are conversations that we have in the family, and just a little bit to think about that. Sometimes we find ourselves we get caught up in our past. We get caught up in the things that we do, and we have, in a sense, what they call messed up in life so much that it's kind of hard to trust. It's kind of hard to love again. But we have to learn how to forgive one another. We have to learn how and realize that we need each other. There's a whole lot of things in life that I have made a lot of mistakes in life. Uh, a lot of them I'm not proud of. I can't turn back the hands of time. I can't change it. But what I can do is from this point on and move forward is to try not to keep making those same mistakes all over again. And I would be talking to different ones, and sometimes people say, "Well, you was brought up different." Okay, even though I was brought up different, you are very much aware of that. I was brought up with the love, but even if you wasn't brought up that way, we try to teach one another that when you learn better, you do better. And if you've been having issues and different things, in your life with one another. But when you learn how to forgive, you learn how to forget, and learn that we need each other, then we begin to do better. We begin to treat each other with love, with caring, with being passionate towards one another, concerned about one another. The husband, wives, and children. Like I say, that I can't really remember the time that I went to church and left the church without hugging some of the members, because some of them leave earlier, but more or less, most important, my immediate family, and most of us go to our church. And when we get ready to leave, we greet each other when we see, we greet each other when we leave, we hug and say, I love you, talk to you later. And on that note, we leave because we practice it, we teach it, and we show it because we try to be there for one another. When one is sick, we try to pray for the family. When one needs something, we try to meet the need for that family. And I was thinking about husband and wife. Sometimes in life, over the years, life brings about a change. Sometimes we get a little old, we get a little grouchy, and sometimes we get a little distance, but we need each other. And that's what I constantly tell people. Not only the children, they need us, so they need to see the love that we started with, that we end up with. My mother and father, we saw them from the every time we seen them, we saw love. I never seen that I can recall my mother and father arguing. If they argued about anything, they did it behind closed doors, and they didn't let us see them doing it. And they never put us against one another. John, what do you think about this here? Your daddy said this. John, what do you think about that? Your mama said that. They never put us in the mix. They whatever they if they had issues and problems, they solved them among themselves. And when we saw them, we saw love, we saw caring, we saw concern, we saw mama nurturing and being there, meeting the need of my dad. We saw dad being there, nurturing and meeting the need of mama, making sure that she had what she needed. And often, sometimes my wife and I, we sit down, and when I come home from work, and we talks about it, and we have a little closed in porch on the back. And sometimes when I come in, I don't feel like it all the time, but every now and then, even if I don't feel like it, I take the time out and share a few moments with her. And she fix a pot of coffee, and we go out there and sit out on the back porch on that little deck, and just enjoy the fruits of our labor. Look out at our little lawn and the flowers and the birds and the bees flying around. And if it's over in the evening, the little crickets making their little noise and doing whatever they do, and reminiscing and talking about different things and the family, what's going on in the family, what my day was like and what her day might have been like, and just enjoy in each other's company, because we need that. We need the companionship. We need the fellowship. We need to, instead of coming home, you over in this corner and I'm in that corner, and unless you want something, pretty much the only time you might even say anything. But we need each other. And it's nothing that, I don't know about you, I can't speak for others, but it makes me feel good when I come home, or just before I get home. My wife may give me a phone call in the midday or something and wants to know, what do I want for dinner? Do I have a taste for anything in particular? So she can make sure it's ready for me when I get there. That makes me feel good. She's thinking about me. She's concerned, and she want to make sure that whatever she fixed, that I'm going to enjoy it. And sometimes I may have a taste for something in particular. But most of the time, I just tell her, baby, whatever you fix. She's a real good cook, so it's hardly ever that she makes a mistake and cook the wrong thing. Sometimes I tease this with her. She fixes soup, and I tell her, yeah, that's healthy, and it truly be healthy because it has some of almost every vegetable you can almost think of being in it sometime. And she want to make sure we get the greens and that we need, as well as the meats and the and we eat baked food most of the time because she make sure I want to make sure we got some greens in our diet. I want to make sure we don't want to eat too much fried. So that's showing she's concerned about our health. She want to make sure we be here to enjoy one another, and she making sure that she take care of me. And every now and then, sometimes we get out of church, I may not even say nothing to her, but just to let her know that I appreciate her. And even if she be done fixed dinner sometimes she'd be getting ready to go home to fix dinner. And we leave out, and sometimes she'd look up, she said, where are we going? Because if we be done off track, be done headed in another direction that we don't normally go in. So then she pretty much just about know me. So she have an idea that I probably is taking her out to dinner or something of that sort. And most of the time that'd be the case. And I said, well, I don't know in particular, but I thought I'll surprise you. And we don't, it ain't no big place or nothing in particular. You got to be going to Red Lobster, Joe Mirrors, and all of those, Omniamo, and all of them different kind of places. If you can afford it, that's fine. But sometimes we just drop in Golden Corrals every now and then, and sometimes even that's a hit and miss. Sometimes you enjoy it, sometimes you don't. But what's most important, we enjoy one another company. We may start off with our little meal and a drink or something, and then we end up with a cup of coffee most of the time. And after we get to eating, we sit there and we kind of chat about different little things, and we going on home. And she lets me know too. She said, John, thank you. I appreciate that. I said, yeah, I thought I'd save you a little time. And that's because when I get home, I don't want you in there messing around in the kitchen too long. I want you to come in there and sit on the lounge next to me. We watch a little TV together and enjoy it. And if I'm watching something, we sit there together. And if it's, sometimes I even ask her, I say, is that okay with you? You want to watch something else? And she may say, no, that's all right. And then sometimes she may be watching something in particular. And she'll ask me, I'm just watching that. If you want to watch something else, you can change the channel. She takes it into consideration. And that's what we need to do as a whole, to not to take one another for granted. Take it into consideration that we might be doing something at that particular time, rather it's watching TV or doing something else, but to be concerned about the other, your significant other. And we make sure that our children is all right every now and then. We don't talk to them after a period of time. We have to call them grandkids. We have to call our children. And I tell them that it reminds me of my mother and father when we was coming up, because they always used to would tell us, what happened? We haven't heard from y'all in the last few days. So on that note, I just want to make sure that I want to remind you guys to take the time out and love on one another. So thank you for listening to John Beverly, the businessman with a conscience, here at the Alcumalon Village, where each one reach one, each one teach one. One brick, one building, one block at a time. And as we say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you can. We show it by the things that we do. So let's continue to love on one another. Thank you and have a great day.
John Beverly, the Candyman, the businessman with a conscience, on LICMC.net radio every Saturday at 3 p.m.